Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Michele from the East Hampton Library and I'm going to read you a book today. And the title of the book is called A Good Day for a Hat. It's about Mr. Brown who loves hats and can't leave his house without wearing just the right hat. But on a certain day, every time he opens the door to leave, the situation changes and Mr. Brown must change his hat in harmony with everything else in his day. So let's get started. A good day for a hat. Today is a good day for a hat, said Mr. Brown. But when he stepped outside, it was raining. I have just the right hat for that, Mr. Brown said. But when he stepped outside, the rain had turned to snow. I have just the right hat for that, Mr. Brown said. But when he stepped outside, a band was marching by. I have just the right hat for that, Mr. Brown said. But when he stepped outside, there were magical rabbits loose on his lawn. I have just the right hat for that, Mr. Brown said. But when he stepped outside, there was a rootin' tootin' rodeo. I have just the hat for that, Mr. Brown said. But when he stepped outside, it was time for the Big Bear County cook-off. I have just the right hat for that, Mr. Brown said. But when he stepped outside, there was a great fire-breathing dragon. I have just the hat for that, Mr. Brown said. But when he stepped outside, he was sailing the high seas. Oh dear, said Mr. Brown, I have just the hat for that, too. But I'm on my way to Miss Plum's house, and I'm already very late. So when Mr. Brown stepped outside again, he was prepared for anything. Finally, Mr. Brown arrived at Miss Plum's house. When he stepped inside, all of her friends were there. Surprise, they yelled. Mr. Brown was so startled, all of his hats tumbled from his head. Oh, yes, said Mr. Brown, it's my birthday. And Miss Plum said, I have just the hat for that.